too.
Good morning, I'm Renee Allen. Thanks for joining us. The U.S. Supreme Court in a special session yesterday heard arguments on whether the Biden administration's vaccine requirements for healthcare workers and large companies can be implemented. Two of the mandates rules being challenged. One requires the vaccine or weekly testing for businesses with 100 or more employees. The other requires healthcare workers at facilities that receive Medicare or Medicaid be fully vaccinated. At the heart of the legal battle is whether the administration has overstepped its authority to impose the requirements. If the Biden administration's rule for private companies stands, OSHA is expected to begin issuing citations on February 9th. The state of Louisiana is at the center of the challenges. As News 6's Mark Rigsby reports, the Attorney General and a private business owner are firmly against the mandate.
This is a really big deal. Here's the question. Does the federal government have the power to order private businesses and healthcare workers to be vaccinated against COVID-19? The government says yes, the plaintiffs say no. Either way this plays out, it could shape the course of the pandemic in the United States. From Louisiana to the nation's highest court, justices will now decide whether or not the Biden administration can impose a COVID vaccine requirement for employees and healthcare workers.
You have to be there. You have to be there for 8 hours a day. You have to be there in the exact environment that the workplace is set up with. And you have to be there with a bunch of people you don't know and who might be completely irresponsible. Where else do people have a greater risk than at the workplace?
That the problem here is its scope and that there's no differentiation between the risk faced by unvaccinated 22-year-olds and unvaccinated 60-year-olds or industries.
Back in November, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans blocked the vaccine mandate for businesses with 100 employees or more. Attorney General Jeff Landry and a grocery store chain owner, Brandon Trosclair, filed the suit against it.
I am a grocery guy. I'm not the vaccine police.
Trosclair has 500 employees at 16 stores in Louisiana and Mississippi.
It's not the government's right to put me in the position of the everyday medical decisions of my employees, and they should not be put in a position to have a vaccine or potentially lose their job where they cannot take care of the well-being of their families.
Also in November, the state of Louisiana and 11 other states sued the Biden administration over the COVID vaccine mandate for health care workers at facilities receiving Medicare or Medicaid funds. Landry says the court's decision is very important to the future of America.
This is about individual liberty, and this is about the breadth of the federal government's reach into your lives. Whether or not the federal government can mandate medical procedures such as a vaccine on you, and then they can do it in a coercive manner of basically threatening your job.
Here's another Louisiana connection. This will be one of the biggest case decisions so far for Associate Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who is a native of New Orleans and was nominated by former President Trump and confirmed to sit on the high court in 2020. Mark Rigsby, KLFY News 10.
The Louisiana Supreme Court ruled yesterday that Ochsner Health can fire employees who refuse to meet its COVID-19 vaccine mandate. There were 3 separate cases before the court, both brought by Alexandria attorney Jimmy Faircloth on behalf of Ochsner employees in both Lafayette and Shreveport. While lower courts returned different verdicts in the 2 cases, Friday's ruling by the Louisiana Supreme Court makes it clear statewide hospitals can fire their employees if they do not get vaccinated. Ochsner Lafayette General released a statement saying in part, quote, "We are pleased with the unanimous decision today from the Louisiana Supreme Court upholding the legality of Ochsner Health's vaccination requirement. This decision supports our right to enact policies that protect patients and staff at all facilities across Louisiana." End quote. As cases continue to rise across Louisiana, hospitals brace for the worst but hope for the best. At Opelousas General, there are 10 currently COVID-positive patients, 3 in the ICU. 90% of them, we're told, remain unvaccinated. Chief Population Officer Tim Marks says they are seeing patients from all age groups. From a staffing standpoint, Marks says the hospital has been hit hard. He tells us they have seen about 50 employees out at one time due to positive cases or exposure.
Unfortunately, that has limited the bed capacity of our hospital very much. And in doing so does force us to look at routine procedures and stuff that people were accustomed to getting that required an inpatient stay, that we're having to postpone those again.
In light of the recent increase in cases, the hospital has made changes to visitation policies. Today, the Lafayette Fire Department will be giving out free at-home test kits starting at 8 this morning. A drive-through line will be set up at the Robichaud Center, Recreation Center that is. Only one kit will be given per person. St. Landry Fire District 6 and units will also be handing out test kits starting at 9 a.m. Only one kit will be given per household on a first-come, first-served basis. Meanwhile, free COVID vaccinations and boosters will be administered Monday at the St. Martin Parish Health Unit from 8 to 3:30 p.m. Vaccinations are available to those 5 and older. A parent or legal guardian must be present for those 5 to 17 years old. People getting boosters are to bring their vaccination cards. Abandoned homes is an issue that has Crawley citizens saying enough is enough. Meanwhile, a local organization is trying to make a difference one house at a time. News 10's Rodrika Taylor finds out how to bring more awareness to a long-standing problem.
A volunteer organization named Citizens Against Blight, also known as CAB, is tackling the problem at hand of abandoned homes in Crawley, like this one.
I'm a single woman, and I'm scared of whatever's going to come out of there. And even if they come tear this down, my biggest concern is whatever's in there going to come over to my house.
Angela Augusta has been living in her home for 25 years. She's been complaining about the abandoned home next to her. After recently losing her husband and her home being broken into, she wants change.
I've even called the city, asking them to come and do something about that because of the concerns of the rodents and God knows whatever else is in that house.
The Citizens Against Blight organization identified a total of 530 homes needing to be removed or brought back up to code.
So we've rated them from 1 to 5. 1 being just violations, trash, cars, things like that. 5 being the most extreme houses.
CAB has been working with code enforcement by submitting the identified homes.
If they believe a structure is a candidate or a structure is a problem, it's probably already been identified by CAB. And all we need to do is to know who the owner is.
The steering committee says so far CAB has removed 85 homes.
By the organization being outside in the community and helping individuals voluntarily knock down their homes.
The organization wants to spread more awareness.
There's a way to solve this problem beyond just waiting for someone to be so upset at a condition in their neighborhood.
If there is an abandoned home near you, contact the organization for help. In Crawley, Rodrika Taylor, KLFY, News 10.
You can find more information on the organization. It's on our website. That's KLFY.com.